We are almost at the end. Yeah, I never really thought we would make it this far. This is Mega Man NG, and I welcome you guys to another TMNT 2012 Season 2 episode review. Today we're going to be talking about episode 24 of Season 2, Into Dimension X. Now, before I continue with this, let me say right here that tonight you guys are going to be getting the season finale review. And it's going to be a big one. And I mean really, really big. Not as big as my season 4 finale, because once I complete that, then the journey to season 3 begins. And once I'm done with season 3, that's it. Although I will have one last thing planned. There will also be another video I wanted to share, but let's just say that Rise of the TMNT, the new 2018 series, revealed a teaser, and I will be providing my honest thoughts on that. So here's the deal about today's review. I'm going to provide a summary of today's episode, as well as some of the things that I enjoyed. There was plenty to enjoy, I tell you. Let us begin. On a faraway world, Leatherhead hopes to send a message to the turtles, but the Kraang intercept him, forcing him to go on the offensive. But despite his efforts, he ends up captured. On Earth, the turtles would eventually get Leatherhead's message, but due to a mishap from Mikey, a device opens, revealing a portal to Dimension X. Mikey is worried for Leatherhead, and despite their brother's objections, they head for Dimension X. What they find is anything but weird. There's just one problem. The only one that knows their way around is Mikey. Can they be able to find him and save Leatherhead from the Kraang? And what of the invasion Leatherhead speaks of? What are their plans? Yeah, this episode was just so out of this world. It was also really good. For starters, it's good to see Leatherhead again, but he has changed a lot. Yeah, he has been in Dimension X since the first season, which means that, as Donatello has explained, time flows completely different in Dimension X than on Earth. He does give the turtles a warning before getting captured, and as I mentioned already, yes, he has gotten older. He has been in Dimension X for decades, so I'd say a year pretty much would be the equivalent of decades in Dimension X. So basically, normal, it's sort of like how Digimon did it in the first season. Like 1 day in the digital world would be like a second, and that's insane. Until the end of the season where they had to synchronize everything. We also get to see Dimension X for the very first time, and it's weird. Absolutely weird, with all sorts of creatures, weird physics and gravity, and a lot of threats. And I do mean plenty of threats. The Kraang are the least to be worried about. And I mean the least because there are a lot more bigger threats in this place than any that the turtles have ever experienced. Speaking of the turtles, Mikey is surprisingly the main focus in this episode. And as dim-witted as he can be, when it comes to Dimension X, the guy is smart. And seeing him take over and become the de facto leader really does show. I mean, wow. There were moments that Mikey saved the day, but never on a grand scale like this. Believe me, I know. I've been reviewing this show for a long time, and I've seen it all. We do get to see Kraang again, but he's brought along a menace alongside it, the Granitor. Granitor makes its debut here, and sadly, they end up getting beat by Mikey in the most unorthodox of ways. By means of using sound to crack the platform that Kraang and Granitor are, and they plummet way down to their doom. It is just amazing. I really loved it. I mean, Mikey ends up being smart, while the other turtles are being completely dumb. And that's par for the course. As we mentioned earlier, the Kraang have plans for something, and we actually know why. We get to experience and discover that the Kraang have perfected the mutagen and tested it on a tree, turning it into some kind of Kraang tree. Not to mention, their plans are revealed. To use the perfected mutagen to turn everyone and everything into Kraang, so that way they can have a new home, a new Dimension X. And they'll summon an entire army to do it. And I mean, Really, they have like a huge army. So it led into an intense, action-packed finale in the end, where the Turtles have to do everything they can while Don and Mikey try to figure out a way to shut the Kraang down, albeit temporarily. I mean, there were so many favorite moments in this episode, but if I were to list a few, it would be Mikey being smart in Dimension X and being the one responsible for coming up with all these plans to stop the Kraang in Dimension X. Dimension X is weird, but when Mikey is in charge, who am I to complain? I got no complaints with it, honestly. I mean it, knowing that the Turtles and Leatherhead were going to be taking on near impossible odds. Yet Mikey, of all people, have to be the one to save the day. Including Leatherhead and everyone. I mean, wow. I really loved the episode. Whereas Vengeance is Mine is considered my all-time favorite episode of Season 2, Into Dimension X is my second favorite. Next to what you're about to see up next, which later tonight I am going to be reviewing the 2-part finale, The Invasion. And boy, I am going to have a field day with it, trust me. Now hear me out. My rating for this is in the description, and I will say that the episode was very good. However, with The Invasion both parts, let's just say that I literally had a field day taking a lot of notes. And I mean a lot, because this 2-part finale was just big, huge, and insane. Not only that, but I also will be providing my overall review for Season 2. And compared to Season 1, Season 2 is just a big improvement. It was not only a big improvement, but it added a lot of new things that actually made the season great. And I really do mean that. And trust me, when we get to that, we'll get to that. Believe me. My rating for this week's episode is in the description below. Tonight, you guys are going to be getting the finale. And it's going to be a big one, I tell you, a big one. That's going to be it for this episode review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please be sure to hit the like button. It really does mean a lot to me. And I will see you guys tonight when I review the 2-part season finale to TMNT 2012 Season 2, The Invasion. And next week, I will be starting Season 3. I already saw the first episode of Season 3, and I know I'm going to have a field day providing a lot of information on that. So yeah, that's going to be it. This is Mega Man NJ signing off. Peace out. Boo Yakasha.